today with a new pattern coming up. Actually, over the next couple of weeks, we've got a new cowl pattern, but I've got a tutorial for you tomorrow that will help serve you well for both of those, but projects into the future. So stay tuned and we'll talk about that. Welcome everyone as you jump on. If you're joining me for the first time, hi, I'm Kristen. I'm with GoodKnitKisses, and we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. We work on things that are needle knitting and loom knitting. I like to discern between the two, or tell you the difference. We work on needles for knitting, of course, so knitting, but many people have joined us from the beginning of this channel working on loom knitting and really raising the level of your loom knitting stitches and knowledge base, and just kind of elevate those things so that it doesn't have that old connotation, and you get to know, learn new things, and be confident with what you make. But we also do crochet, which some people have come to me only for crochet, which is funny because like some of my #1 videos are actually crochet. So welcome if you're joining me with crochet. I would love to know today what originally brought you to GoodKnitKisses. I would love to know that before we move on. That would be really fun. So when did you first come to GoodKnitKisses and start learning some things? How did we meet? And thank you for joining me. Also, I do have some weaving videos as well, and a few other crafts. The thing, just while everybody's jumping on, funny thing, the first video that kind of put me on the map with YouTube, not necessarily with my regular audience, was learning how to make a bow. I started in 2010, starting GoodKnitKisses as my business, but I started on YouTube in January 2011 and started making videos helping people how to loom knit specifically, and just small little videos on techniques and stuff like that. And then in May, I thought, oh, I should teach people how to make a bow. I know how to do that. And it's like wedding season and baby shower season coming up. And not that people have babies only one time a year, but anyway, I was like, I'll make a bow. And by Christmas, the bow video kind of blew up, and then it sort of put me on the map for YouTube and started showing people more of my videos. So 2011 is when I started, and then by Christmas it kind of hit, and then but I was actually monetized. It was by June or July or something. I was monetized that first year, but only from my loom knitting audience. So anyway, I'm just curious if you were originally from loom knitting, if you're here from crochet, needle knitting, maybe you're here from all the pot holders we've been doing in the past year, that kind of thing. So yeah, welcome. So I've got a few things I want to share with you today that are coming up, and some tomorrow. So I'm going to say hello to a few of y'all. If you're on the replay, please feel free to respond. Good morning, Joanne. She's our GoodKnitKisses woman talking here. Hey, Alicia. Good morning. It's great to see you. Hey, Cheryl. Happy Friday. Good morning, Dixie. Cheryl says loom knitting. Yay. She's or more loom knitting. A snowstorm there. Oh my goodness, Carol, she's one of our admins. Sorry about the snowstorm. Hopefully you're nice and warm and toasty and have your knits and crochet. She does both. Cheryl says, years ago, I found you when you were starting and had a channel and wrote a book, and I found in my library. Ah, I love that. I love that. Alicia, loom knitting years ago, and you loom knit in your car at lunches. Yes, I did that. When I was doing design and floor covering sales, and I just couldn't wait to chat about it with someone. And so I would get in my car at lunchtime and just video about what was going on in my world. Blessings, crochet and knitting, lovely chrysanthemum flower. Oh, I love your name on there, that channel. Do you garden? That sounds fun. Yes, Carol, we got to meet at the Texas retreat. So I originally got to know you in the private Facebook groups, and Mikey with the Crochet Crowd had actually had recommended Carol, and said that we would just totally get along, and he was not wrong. Just that was one of the best trips. One of my favorite memories. Joanne, stay warm, Carol. Yes, I know the snow is headed your way tomorrow. Wow. Y'all, you ladies live in these areas with all this crazy snow. I'm in Texas, so we get all the bipolar weather. It's very back and forth. Shakita, blessings. Thank you so much. Good morning, Dana. Canadian loom knitter there. Yay, we have several Canadians now. Lisette, good morning. Hey, Lori, welcome, one of our VIPs. Um, oh, knocking my camera. Mary Lou Jackson, loom knitting started this year, just retired. Congratulations on retiring and also on loom knitting. That's awesome. I learned how to loom knit from Kristen's videos. Joanne, you wait, you originally learned to loom knit from me? I count myself privileged. She's so good, and she works with the Kiss Loom and makes some beautiful, beautiful things on there. Just masterful. Dixie, I am a yarn addict and found that loom knitting was so much easier on my arthritis and totally hooked. Yes, arthritis for sure. I was having a lot of carpal tunnel residual from another job that had just really hurt, and so when I first started knitting, I actually was loom knitting because of pain. And that was so much easier to hold. I think holding the needles was really stressful, especially at first. But I got better, thankfully. But I always have I like that I can go back and forth between needles and crochet and loom knitting, but I find that sometimes when I'm holding the hook or the needles too long, I definitely need to go back to some loom knitting projects. So, like if I'm doing like a really big project and I need relief. So I like mixing it up and having multi stitches to choose from, multi tools to choose from. I feel like my craft room is like a guy's man cave garage. I have like all the tools, except I'm probably less organized than a man's man cave garage. Let's see. I scrolling on YouTube, just I can't for some reason. Okay. Look at you now, Cheryl says. Hey, Dixie's in Louisiana. I'm so glad. We were just there in Louisiana last week. We went to Natchitoches. I love that place. I love it. Yes, I did. We got us some Arcadian on, that's for sure. Yes, I did. Okay, Joanne says, yes, I did. My daughter got a loom for Christmas and has now looked at videos to learn, then bought my own. I love that. I love that. Cheryl says, I started loom knitting as a young child, but a kid playing to what YouTube worlds are way. Yes, it's so different learning now versus learning then. So many things at your fingertips, but also so many more things to distract you. You really have to be vigilant about what you're doing, because if you have ADD or whatever, even if you don't identify with that, like there's just so many things pulling for your attention, and the fact that we all stuck it through to learn something and keep going is a testament in today's world of just all these things bombarded. Mary Lou, good morning. I'm glad you're coming on, Miss Cotton. Cheryl says you're a natural teacher. You are so sweet. I never wanted to be a teacher. We have a lot of teachers in our family, and I was like, I naturally kind of lean toward instruction. Like I see someone struggling in a thing that I know something about, not in something I don't know anything about, but something I might know about of what they're actually doing. And if I can help, I kind of feel like, "Oh, I really want to relieve that pain for you. I want you to enjoy what you're doing because it looks like you want to enjoy it." But anyway, when I see someone struggle, or I see someone like really yearn to want to learn something, I'm like, I want to help you get there. So I can't make you do it. It's like my children. I can't make you. I can't make you do it, but I can help you if you're interested. But thank you for that encouragement. I don't feel like I'm always the best, but I try. So trying is all any of us can expect to do, right? Lisette is in Vermont, getting ready for a big nor'easter. Yes, we've got Palm Sunday coming up. Great to have loom knitting to do while I'm stuck at the house. Yes. Hola Maritza, welcome. Patience and desire to share. Yes, Cheryl, absolutely. Okay, so thanks for joining me, and we're 9 minutes in. Sorry, I'm doing all the greetings. Sometimes people get really irritated at that, but I said a bunch in the beginning to help you. So hopefully you're still hanging on with me, and now we're going to talk about what's coming up. So what I'm wearing right now, what she's wearing, do a little Vanna White on myself. Um, this is the Squiggle Cowl. I'm going to pull it up over my mouth if you're lip reading, sorry. So this one, it still needs to be blocked a little bit, but this is what it is when it's standing out. So it is a beautiful cable. You've got beautiful regular cables here, and then we have these squiggle cables in between. Yeah, fun, fun, fun. And then, so you're doing it vertically. You're knitting, you're loom knitting or knitting. You can do the same um, pattern. We're going to have both patterns releasing over the next 2 weeks, and you want to have your cables line up when you join it, right? So this is where it's lining up. This is the seam. It definitely has a seam on it. I'll tell you, I learned some stuff in the process. I wanted to do the best seam that I could possibly do, and I was learning different techniques and kind of perfecting how I wanted to do it. And I did this one, and I was trying to do it as a grafting technique and not have a seam, but I ended up pulling it tighter, and I really like it more as a shoulder seam. But there is a technique for the mattress stitch, but on not on the side. Like a lot of times you match up the sides of the mattress stitch, sides of your knitting, and we have a mattress stitch. But if you want to have your work where it's like end on end, so you have the, let's call this my fingers, we'll call my fingers like the ending or bind off of your knitting, choop, and then maybe you have the beginning of your knitting, boop, that started, you have a cast on edge and then a bind off edge. The reason why I'm doing it like this instead of like this is because it's going in the same direction, right? So you want your stitches, these pretty V-shaped stitches to all line up and go in the same direction, and fit together and look like it's just continually going, right? They're not, going backwards or anything. And so in this case, that's what we're doing. So we're connecting a circle, and you have a cast on edge and you have a bind off edge, and we're putting up together, and we're binding on the horizontal seam. So this is what we're doing here. So here's my little sample, and we have 2 pieces of the puzzle, and we want them all to line up. So you can see all my little V's are running the same direction. Now there is a line, there's a little dent where that seam is, but you can imagine if you have a shoulder seam or something like this, you're going to want that strength there. Now it does have a little bump in the back for the seam, but that adds strength and stability. So you don't necessarily need the strength and stability on a cowl, but you would if you were going to use this on a shoulder. And I think it works better for this anyway, just to go ahead and do it the same way. So I'm going to show you the difference in way you line it up. Now, the way I taught how to do it is the way I did it here. You can see everything is perfectly lined up. There is no jog. I'm going to show you the next sample. This video comes out tomorrow. You can see, make sure I have my V stitches lined up right. Okay. Here it is here. So you can see all my ribbing. So it's a mattress stitch for ribbing. All my ribbing is lined up. There's nothing offset about it. It looks really good. So if you have a 2x2 ribbing, if you have 3x3 ribbing, 2x1, whatever, you should be able to apply this technique. And this has cables, yes, but there's like 4 stitches across here, and then we go to 2 and then 2 and then 2 and keep going. So it has those purls in between. And so this technique will show you how to work with the purls there. So let me show you my test one, which is actually this one. This is the one that comes out tomorrow. Oh, by the way, let me pull it off. I'll show them side by side. Do you know the difference? For people who are needle knitters and they thumb their noses at loom knitting, this is yours. This is a needle knit version of the Squiggle Cowl, right? Here is the loom knit version. You see? Do you see a difference? Likely not. It's the same thing. Loom knitting is knitting. Loom knitting is knitting. Same thing. I could tell you this is the loom one, but it's actually the needle one. I could tell you this is the needle, but it's actually the loom one. So they're both knit. So anyway, these patterns are coming. So the loom knit version is coming out tomorrow on the 23rd, March 23rd. And then on March 30th, day before Easter, here in the US. I don't know if there's different days around the world. I'm sorry, I don't know that information. But anyway, so the day before Palm Sunday, we have the loom knit version coming out, pattern, and the video on how to do the seaming. And the day before Easter, we will have the needle knit version. If you're watching this after those dates, it's just out. And the links are down below to the actual tutorials. If you are a member currently of the GoodKnitKisses page, if you're subscribed, you won't be able to see this until the release date tomorrow. But if you're a member, you can see it now. So as soon as we jump off here, if you're like, I want to go see how to seam this, then go ahead. You can use this technique also on our headband. We had a squiggle and rope headband that we did, and you could use that same technique. So when I did the headband, I was like, I think there's a better way. I think I just told everybody to seam it to get just sew it together. But this is a much better way of doing it. And I thought, you know, with a larger project, I really want to make sure, because with a headband, it's very forgiving. I can put the seam at the back. It's under my hair. You know, most people are doing it with hair and it's exposed. It's not exposed, that you can't see the seam. And so I was like, I'm not going to worry about the seam being perfect or not perfect. But with this one, it's going to look good. So I hope that, you all find that interesting. So this is the loom that I used. If you're like, what loom are we using, Kristen? I used this one. This is a large gauge loom. We used a bulky 5-weight yarn, and the Flexi loom is the loom of choice because I could put different colored pegs where my cables are. So we have cables marked by these lighter pegs here, which is really handy. It doesn't have to be knit in the round. It doesn't have to be a round loom. I've joined it. It's a flat panel worked back and forth. So needle knitting, I just used, you could use straight needles because it's not that wide of a project, but I used circular needles because that's my habit. I love circular needles because also what I love about circular needles is I can slide my work to the middle of the cable needle, and then I could just throw it in my bag and go. Example, let me just show you my example right here. I'm working on a different version, but here is a rope version that you'll see later in the year. And when I'm not working on it, I just slide it to the middle, and it's like I have this really big stitch holder. So isn't that nice? All right, I'm going to catch up on your questions. Let's see. Alicia, back to how she saw me. She says, loom knitting, I've come and some have stayed over the years when loom knitting has started. Lots of patterns now. Yes. I was doing a lot more tutorial videos on little bitty things, but like I wasn't having as many patterns, and now it's like a ton of patterns. And I love that you're still here. Love you. Just enjoyed seeing you over the years. The Chrononaut's wife, Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. Oh, broke a toe after Thanksgiving. Luckily, I just bought a loom knitting kit. I watched a ton of your videos and was able to make a scarf in about 4 days. The hardest part was binding off. Fantastic, fantastic. Not the breaking the toe. Not cool. But I'm glad that you got some relief from that. I know a few other people who've been laid up, and then they watched me and they were they were able to do some productive stuff, which feels so good. I'm so glad to have helped pass that time and enjoy learning something new. So I'm glad that you stuck it out. You're still here. Let's see. Is there a name for the pattern of taking out every third peg? That is what I did to make an illusion of drop stitches instead of wrapping a pen. Yes. It's just a drop stitch, doing it every third peg. I have done that. I have a blanket pattern that I did a long time ago before I was really really writing patterns. I was very new to it. It's still out in its original form. And I think we did a drop stitch like every three. We did knit 3, but I actually did them E-wrap 3, which is a twisted knit stitch if you're a needle knitter, or knit through the back loop. And then we skipped 1, and then we did knit 3, and you had like this empty column. I think it was skipping 1. But it's really just a drop stitch. And yeah, there's not really a special pattern name for that. It's fantastic. Did the regular cable. Oh, I missed that. Oh, and member our okay, we get good. I'm glad, Cheryl, you received the pattern. Yes, we sent that pattern out, so I'm so glad. Yes, and Joanna's working on a baby blanket. Awesome. I'm glad she's getting started. She's been talking about that baby blanket for a bit. Dorothy, I made a second scarf using similar pattern, but it was a little less. Whoop. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're saying. Let's see. It was a little less wood by starting and ending with 1 peg instead of 2. So you just add 1 stitch less, I guess. Joanne did the regular basic cable. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl. And Cheryl, there was a problem. Let me just tell you, sorry, as an aside, Cheryl is testing this pattern. I noticed that I left something out, so I hope you figured out the problem. There was like a repeat, so you have to do your cable, and then it was like purl 2, knit 2 twice, purl 2, knit 2, and then a purl 2 again before you do that whole repeat. So I think that was missing from yours, and you'll catch the drift when you look at the pattern that just got sent out today. So unless she sent you another one. I did. Thank you. It took a minute. Okay. I saw that later on, and I was like, oh no, Cheryl has the wrong thing. She doesn't have the thing. So anyway, so I had to make an update, but I'm glad that you figured out. You're smarty. I knew you would. So I'm testing the needle knit one, but I would love for you to, I'd love to see your loom knit version. So anyway, that's what's happening tomorrow. I hope you guys are going to like that. We will have another pot holder coming up next month. So these are the next 2 patterns for this month. If you guys have any crochet that you're interested in doing, I know I haven't had any crochet for this year. Have I? I might have had one in January. But if there's something that you've been wanting to know, maybe some color work. I don't think I've done a lot of color work in crochet. I feel like I'm kind of lacking on that end. So if there's something that you're like, I would really love to hear Kristen's take on it, then yeah, I can totally do that. That's it for now. I hope you guys all have a wonderful Easter season. We have Palm Sunday coming up this Sunday, and if you don't know, you should go check it out. This is when Jesus came and everybody celebrated him coming in, and they laid palm branches down at his feet, and he came in on a donkey and received the children, and really cool. So look it up. And then Easter is the week after. And for us, Easter is not a pagan holiday. It is about the resurrection of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord, and he is mine. So if you don't know, you know now. If you didn't know, you might have had an inkling, but I'm just going to come out and say, anyway, love you all. And I hope you really look into it, because these times are concerning, and you definitely need to start looking upward instead of inward and out to the world. Just going to say that. So I'm going to be bold and say that here. You guys are special to me. I love you. And I want the best for you. So, and that is the best. That is the best that I can express. I'm only here by the grace of God. So, I'm just, anyway, Dorothy, you got it. You got it, girl. You got it. You're going to get this. It's so fun. Make sure when you're binding off, if you have drop stitches, that you allow some extra yarn in those and kind of just tug on your yarn a little bit more, and you can pull out that drop stitch. I have a few other projects with drop stitches that you might find interesting. Please check out the Dewdrop shawl. It has really long drop stitches that are side drop stitches, not the elongated drop stitch. You're talking about side to side instead of length. So go check out the Dewdrop shawl. I think you'll find that very interesting. Um, Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Happy Easter, everyone. Love you all. We'll talk to you later. Bye.